Okay, so in this tutorial we're going to be going over how to create a project from the Unity Hub and how to use the skills that are required for your first homework assignment. So hop into the Unity Hub once you get it installed. It might ask you to log in or create an account, but once you do that, go over here to New Project, select 3D. You'll see there's lots of other tools you can use for learning, but for now we'll use 3D. I recommend you use the same editor version as me, so that way if we have problems, we can rule out a conflicting editor as the problem. Scroll down here, you can name your project if you want, choose your location. It takes a minute to load, so I already loaded one for us. And then you should get a screen that looks like this. I'll go ahead and maximize it. And this is a lot to look at if you've never seen it before, but basically just know that all these little modules here are tileable. You can move them around. It might not even look exactly the same. You can actually drag them and put them all in different orders and whatnot. This is just how I like to have it. So yeah, just like that. Okay, I got confused for a second. Okay, so well, where should we start? So I guess let's go over each of the individual little modules here. So right in the center of the screen is your scene display. You can use your mouse and keyboard, right click to look around, left click to select objects. WASD don't do anything by themselves, but if you hold right click and use WASD, you can move around, sort of zoom around your scene view. That's what it's called. Look up and down and whatnot. If you hold shift, you actually move faster if you have a very big scene. And the way I have it set up is my game view is something I can tab back and forth between. The game view actually, you might be wondering, like, why is it different? Well, right here in your scene view, every sample scene that you create always has a directional light and a main camera to begin with. The main camera, you can think of that as, well, the game view. So whether it's a first-person or a third-person game, you set up your camera to be looking at whatever you want your player to see. So you can sort of see the bounding box that is the game view. So if I line up my scene view right here or so, I should see approximately exactly what my game view sees. Okay, and then since we're going over these objects, I guess the directional light is just exactly what it sounds like. There's even a little sun here that sort of shows off where, if I can find how to rotate, or rotate over here, it actually rotates the sun. Cool little nifty trick. Anyways, so that's the scene and the game view. Over here in our hierarchy, probably the most important module of the whole editor, it lists all the objects in your scene, or scenes plural if you create another one. So I can click here, my main camera, directional light, I'll have all my objects. I can create objects and put them in the hierarchy, but we'll get to that. I can child objects to other objects. Yeah, so that's the hierarchy. If I go over here, this is my assets folder. So assets are just objects or tools you can use to create your game. So like character models, sounds, sound effects, music, animations, stuff like that. Even scenes, that's all under the umbrella of assets, and this is where you're going to store them. You can even make folders if you want. And yeah, so the inspector over here on the right, basically when you click on an object in the hierarchy or when you click on an object in the scene, you get a bunch of information about said object that you can adjust as such. So every object has a transform by default. It basically tells you where it is, how it's rotated, how big it is in the world. So I can move things around with these little arrows or these little planes, or I can move them directly or set the numbers myself. You get the idea. So yeah, that's basically the editor, basically all the things you need to know about for now. Anything else? You have your layers. You don't need to know about that by now. And then all your file save. Whenever you want to make changes, let's say I move this thing around, you see there's a little asterisk here. Control S will save your scene for later. I'm going to undo that. And yeah, so everything will be saved when you Control S. If you want to be sure, you can save as to create a new project file. And yeah, I guess that is moving around the scene view.